again and welcome to another episode of I Want to Talk About This Album. And today, this is the first time I've done one of these episodes in a long time. I think just about a month. Today for me is March, what is today? March 3rd or 4th, something like that. I think the last episode that was uploaded was I went on my trip to Thailand and Cambodia, as you may have heard. On February 10th, I think the last episode was up February 9th. I had recorded that on February 7th or 6th or something like that. So it's been just about a month since I've done an episode, and I feel a little bit rusty. I got a little rust, and not maybe feeling so confident. So I thought, what better to ease myself back into these episodes by talking about an album that I can talk about any day, anytime, no problem. I don't need any warm-ups or any practice or anything like that. It's going to be Kiss Alive again. Now, this might be the third or fourth time in different variations that I've talked about Kiss Alive. I remember one person complained the last time I did. He said, Kiss Alive again? As if there's not other videos on YouTube to watch. Anyway, now the reason I want to do this Kiss Alive today is because, and this is the all Thailand edition. I got this record in Bangkok, Thailand. There it is, Kiss Alive. I got this shirt. Look at this cool, kind of quirky Kiss shirt that I got at the Chatuchak Weekend Market in Thailand. It's kind of weird. The logo is a little bit off. Never seen a shirt like this. I thought it was very cool. I got my Air Jordans, I guess fake Air Jordans that I also got at Chatuchak Market. So this is the Thailand edition. And the Bangkok, let's say, edition. So I'm going to talk about Kiss Alive. Now, the reason I got this one in Bangkok is I'll go back and tell a little story for people that didn't watch the video that I did when I was in Bangkok. There's a guy, there's an Instagram page called Kiss Archives. And I've been following it for a year or maybe a year and a half, maybe something like that. And the guy who runs the page was also following me. And I didn't know anything about the guy, didn't know his name, didn't know where he was from. I saw over, and for me, and I follow maybe 4 or 5 Kiss pages on Instagram. It's easily my favorite one. I've always thought that was the best one. He doesn't just post cool pictures that I've often never seen before, but he has good text too. And it's probably not his text. He takes it from somewhere, but it's still very cool. Instead of just giving me a picture, I want to know something about the picture, about the circumstances that led to the picture being taken. So I got the idea that the guy was Swedish because I think I saw him typing in or posting in Swedish sometimes, or I think he mentioned something about, oh yeah, I saw Kiss in Sweden in 1989 or whatever it was. So I thought, all right, the guy lives in Sweden. And after I had been in Bangkok for a couple of days, I've been posting some things on Instagram. If you want to follow me, it's at Dan Bowski Mexico, the same name as this channel, Dan Bowski Mexico, if you'd like to follow me. So a couple of days after I'd been there, I was posting some things. I got a message from him, and he said, how long are you in Bangkok? And I said, whatever it was at that point, 3 more days, 4 more days, whatever, then I'm going away, then I'm coming back. I said, why do you ask? And he said, because I live in Bangkok, we should meet up. And I said, well, I had no idea that you live in Bangkok. That's pretty cool. So that was at the end of my first 4 days in Bangkok. Then I was going to Koh Samet in Thailand for like 3 or 4 days, then back to Bangkok just for an overnight trip to stay, to get back to Bangkok, to take a train to Cambodia for 5 or 6 days. So we made a plan to meet up after. He said we should, go record shopping or go look for Kiss records. And I said, yes, let's do it. So we met up on my second to last night in Bangkok. It was very, very easy to meet up. We met on the subway platform. And his name is Fabian, by the way. Hello, Fabian. I will send him the link to watch this video. And he said that there's some cool record stores in Bangkok. Now, what was amazing was, if you go back and watch that video, we went to probably close to 8 or 9, maybe 10 record stores, all in the same mall. It's like this mall was built in 1985 or something. And some of the record stores were not that great. Some of them, at least one of them, were not where I bought this record, but another one which I'll talk about was called All-Star, I think All-Star Records. Amazing record stores. And some of them didn't have, I think had 0 Kiss representation, which is kind of funny because you'd think Kiss would be represented anywhere or everywhere, but they weren't in some. But in the one record store, this one where I bought this, I can't remember what it was called, this version of Kiss Alive. And there's a reason why I bought this one. This is not your normal, average, everyday Kiss Alive. The songs are all the same, of course, and I'll talk about the songs. But the reason I'm doing this is I said I got to get back into the groove by doing something that I can do easily. And it is a different edition, which I'm going to talk about and show as soon as I can finish these meandering stories. So I bought this one at a record store. They were all in the same mall. I think the mall was called Future One or Future Town, something like that. And this was the version that I bought was about $37 US, which, I mean, that's, I think, the most expensive thing. These shoes, I think, were not even $37 or maybe around, yeah, probably not even. And all the motorcycle I rented was not even close to $37. And the train ride I took for 5.5 hours was like the tiniest fraction of $37. That was actually $1.50. And so this was really the most expensive thing that I bought on that Thailand trip. And before I get a little bit more into the record, the other record store that we went to, which was well documented in my video episode 14, let's say, 15, I don't know. Oh man, that guy had a stack like this of Kiss records. He had, and I kind of wanted to buy, he had Japanese versions. This one that I'm going to talk about is a Japanese version. He also had Japanese versions of Rock and Roll Over with the gatefold. I think it's the only country in the world that had a gatefold cover. Also the Japanese insert, which this one does have, which I will get to. He had the Japanese Dress to Kill, Japanese Love Gun, which is maybe my favorite Kiss album, and I think Unmasked too. And those are all relatively cheap. Those are all maybe close to half about what Alive was. I remember in Thai baht, and if you want to know what the Thai baht is, you have to go to the Google machine and find out. Rock and Roll Over was 850 Thai baht. The other ones I think were 650 or 750, something like that. Which, I mean, for me, that's pretty expensive. And I did put them aside as I was you go like this when you flip through. I put them aside and I'm going to buy that. I put aside Dress to Kill, Love Gun, Unmasked, and maybe Destroyer, I can't remember. And then, once I got through, I thought, man, I can't justify spending that much money because that's going to open the doors. And I don't want to be a collector. If I buy those four, then I'm going to have to fill in all the gaps. Then I'm going to have to find the first album, the Japanese pressing, and Hotter Than Hell Japanese pressing. And, everything else. I thought, no, I just can't justify buying all of those because that would get me into obsessive mode, and I didn't want to do that. So I thought I would get just Alive, because Alive, as you may know, was the very first record that I ever got in my life, and it has obviously a very, very special place for me, and it really set me on my path, my musical journey to the music that I like up to today. All right, so here's the Kiss Alive Japanese version, and I bought it for several reasons. One, because hey, it's Kiss Alive and it's the first record I ever got. I already have my original version that I got for Christmas in 1976. I have a US version, the reissue that came out in like 2012. I bought that brand new. And I have a Mexican version with all the song titles in Spanish, which I think is pretty cool. So I thought, hey, I'll buy a Japanese version too. And another reason I bought it is in the most pristine condition you could ever imagine. And we did see a lot of Japanese records at these record stores in Bangkok. Japanese people really take care of their stuff, because the stuff that I saw there, and I have seen the Rock and Roll Over, that gatefold Japanese version at El Chopo, for how much was that? That was about 1,200 pesos. For more than double, I think almost triple than what the Rock and Roll Over in Bangkok was. And the Rock and Roll Over in Bangkok was in much, much better condition than the one in El Chopo. So this is in just unbelievable condition. It's Japanese. It has the inserts. It has the original book. And I've got this book. I don't need another one, but hey, why not? And look at that. And this brings back such memories to me. I remember being a kid, and everybody talks about when they're a kid staring at the record covers, especially Alive 2, that picture of Gene like this. And I don't know if I remember this exactly, but I feel like I stared at this as much as I stared at this. I just love this. I don't know that it was pink. It was it was glittery. It was neon disco, whatever it was. The lights and everything, incredible. And it is also, just like the record, in amazing condition. Look at this. And I used to just stare at these pictures when I was 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, 55 years old. Yeah, so the booklet is immaculate condition. Everything is intact. Now, these factors on their own would not been enough for me to buy it. It's Japanese, cool. It's got the insert, that's cool too. It's in amazing condition, that's cool too. What really sold me on this record, and the Rock and Roll Ova, Dress to Kill, Love Gun, and Unmasked, I think is what it was. They had the same thing too. They had this unbelievable, this is so cool, I love this. And this is why I think I never really understood collectors, why they want to spend so much time and money and effort trying to get this kind of makes sense. This is a Japanese insert. It's just like one sheet of paper. I guess you'd call it 4 pages. So it's got the front, the back, and then it opens. It's like a gatefold, all right? And it's got the song titles there in Japanese. Well, it's got them in English and then subtitled in Japanese. And then, and it's got all this text, and I have no idea what any of that text says. It's probably just the history of the band and maybe some information about the record and I don't know, things like that. But this has, and not that I need Kiss lyrics, but this has the lyrics. And I should point out, this is the original version. This came out in 1975. I checked on Discogs when I was looking at the store, and it's got the Japanese, I don't know what you call this, the imprint. There it is right there. It's Victor Musical Industries Incorporated. And there it is, so it's Japanese. I think that's cool. So getting back to this insert, it's got the lyrics, and Fabian and I, we were talking about this. The first record, Kiss record that I remember with lyrics was Lick It Up. Now, I think Creatures of the Night had it too, but I got Creatures of the Night after Lick It Up. So the first Kiss record that I ever had with the lyrics was Lick It Up. So this was really cool. And again, I don't need lyrics, but it's just cool. And the lyrics are in Japanese and English. But, now I would have bought it just for that. But what really, and I don't know why I like this so much, I still think it's really cool. This has Paul Stanley's stage raps transcribed into English. All of his, his stage raps, they're all in here. And I just love that. I think it's very, very cool. And I think what I'm going to do when I talk about this record, I will read. Now, I don't know if I should read them more like just read them straight up reading, or if I should do them in Paul Stanley style. Here's your chance to tell me down below in the comments which way I should do it. And we'll see if I chose the right way. I'm not sure which way I'll do it. But I thought that was very cool. All right. Yeah, the transcription for 100,000 Years, after the drum solo. After the drum solo and before the song comes back in, that's quite long. And I was just tickled, would be the word, when I saw this. So I was willing to pay $37, which is the exact same price as the Angkor Wat ticket was $37, although that allows you to unlimited access to all the temples in the area, of which there are many. All right. So, and it's also got some, I guess kind of in the background, some photos there as well. There's Paul Stanley playing, I think that's a junior Les Paul, and there's Ace and Gene. All right, so I will go through this again. I've talked about these songs countless times in different forms, but I don't care. I'll talk about them again. So you know what? I don't need the record for this. This is Deuce, Strutter, Got to Choose, Hotter Than Hell, Firehouse, and then side 2. Record 1, side 2 is Nothing to Lose, Come On and Love Me, Parasite She. Record 2, side 3 is Watching You, 100,000 Years, Black Diamond. Record 2, side 4 is Rock Bottom, Cold Gin, Rock and Roll All Night, and Let Me Go Rock and Roll. All right. So the first song is Deuce. This is the first, I don't know if it's the first rock song that I heard. It's the first, and I guess for all intents and purposes, we will refer to Kiss as heavy metal. especially back then in 1975. Deuce, I guess, was the first heavy metal song that I heard, and I loved it. And to go back a little bit further, I originally got Kiss Alive for Christmas in 1976 from my aunt, and have never looked back. I'd never heard them before. I don't know why my aunt bought me that record. I guess maybe it was popular at the time, and maybe it was on sale. I don't know, but she gave it to me. I didn't ask for it. As far as I can remember, I had never heard of Kiss. I opened it. I was like, okay, it's a record. And it's by a band called Kiss. I'd never heard of it. So Deuce was the first Kiss song I ever heard. The first real rock song, the first metal song, hard rock, glam rock, whatever you want to call it. And Deuce will always, always, always obviously have a very, very special place for me. And I love it. I don't know, it also does have, I think it does for this, it has transcribed. Yeah, you want, now this says you want instead of you wanted. You want the best and you got it. The hottest band in the land, Kiss. And I see very right off the bat, a mistake. It's get up and get your grandma. Oh, a couple of mistakes. Get up and get your grandma out of here. This says get off and get your growling out of here. Oh, a lot of mistakes here. Pick up. Old Jim is working hard this year. It says this old urchin is working hard this year. I haven't looked at the lyrics. Baby, do the things you're supposed to do. Baby, do the things you want to do. God, I can't. Baby, do the things you want to do. God, how does Deuce go? Oh my God, I've heard this song 10,000 times. Baby, if you're feeling good, baby, if you're feeling nice, you know your man is working hard. He's worth the deuce. Honey, don't wash your mind behind his ears, isn't it? Honey, don't push your man beyond his years. Is that what it is? And baby, stop crying all your tears. All right. And then the first transcribed Paul Stanley stage rap is what's a better way to do it? In Paul Stanley's voice, which I can't really do, or just reading. It's wow, how you doing? Oh yeah, it looks like we're gonna have ourselves a rock and roll party tonight. And then it goes into Strutter, and it's got that great drum intro. I know it's simple, I don't care about that. I think when I was a kid, Strutter was probably my favorite song on this record. I still love it. It's not my favorite anymore, but always loved Strutter. Very, very catchy song. Next is Got to Choose. This is one that, and from the time I first heard this album until today, I love every song. Obviously, there are some that I like more than others. There's not one song in this album that I don't love. Got to Choose at the time in the late 70s and maybe beyond that was nowhere near my favorite. That changed maybe 20 years ago or so, 25 years ago, when my good friend Pete Stamkos was a massive proponent of that song. He was a big Kiss fan like me, and that was always his favorite, and I think that kind of rubbed off on me. And yeah, so now Got to Choose for me is also a very, very top song. What a great solo. I should no, I can't do it. I was gonna say I should sing all the solos. What is the Got to Choose solo? Got to choose, who's your baby? Oh man, Got to Choose is such a great song. Next is Hotter Than Hell. And I love Got to Choose way more now than I did when I was a kid. Hotter Than Hell. Here's more stage raps. All right. I tell y'all, I got this feeling tonight's gonna be one of those hot nights. Yeah, we're gonna get this place hotter than hell. Dun-dun. Great song, always loved it. Probably about the same. My love for Hotter Than Hell now is probably equal to what it was back then. Next after Hotter Than Hell is Firehouse. This is one, probably also equal. Also a great solo. What's the solo in Firehouse? She'll adore you. Let's see if they got the lyrics right for some of these songs. Firehouse. She'll adore you and she'll floor you with her wisdom and her vision, and she'll love it and think of it till you lose your intuition. Come on! She can move you and improve you with her love and her devotion, and she'll thrill you and she'll chill you, but you're headed for commotion, and you'll need her, so you'll feed her with your endless dedication, and the quicker you get sicker, she'll remove your medication. Get the firehouse, cause she sets my soul afire. Get the fire and the flames keep. She's like bad weather, but it seems so good. You never leave her, but you know you should. What's the solo? God, I had it right there. But you know you should. No, that's I'm doing Harder Than Hell again. You'll never leave her, but you know you should. I can't remember the solo for Firehouse, at least off the top of my head. What a great song Firehouse is. Nothing to Lose, man. When I listen to this record today, maybe I talked about this in previous episodes when I've talked about Nothing to Lose. This is maybe one that, and I always loved it, but this is kind of the forgotten song for me, because Nothing to Lose, I think beyond the 70s, was very, very, very rarely played. I think in the 2000s, or maybe 2010s, they played it a few times when they did the Alive anniversary tour in 20, it must have been, I guess it was the 35th at 2010, whatever it was, when they played the full album. Obviously they did it then, but Nothing to Lose has become over the years kind of a rarity. And maybe that's another reason why I love it so much, is because I never had the chance to get sick of it. But this might be, and I loved it when I was a kid, and then I kind of forgot about it over the years, and now I love it maybe now more than ever. This is maybe both at the same time my favorite Gene vocal and my favorite Peter Criss vocal in Nothing to Lose. I just love Gene's, he's very, very kind of growly. What's the first line of Nothing to Lose? Oh my God. I am a Kiss fan, believe me. First line of Nothing to Lose. Before I had a baby, I didn't know what to say. Before I had I didn't care anyway. I thought about the back door, I didn't know what to say. But once I had a baby, I tried every way. I love the way he kind of extends those last words of every line or every other line. And then during the choruses, Peter Criss comes in. It's, I guess, Gene and Paul singing, "You got nothing to lose," and Peter Criss is just wailing over. Do they have Peter Criss's vocals or lyrics? No, they don't. No, it's you got. Shake it one time for Peter. All those kind of ad libs he does. Peter Criss has never sounded better, I think, than he does on Nothing to Lose, and Gene too, for that matter. Maybe, as of today, my favorite song on Alive is Nothing to Lose. Next is Come On and Love Me. Does it have that intro? Yeah, Come On and Love Me. She's a dancer. She's a dancer, a romancer. I'm a Capricorn and she's a Cancer. She saw my picture in a music magazine. Always loved it. Still love it today. I don't think that one's changed very much. Love it. And I should add, is if you don't already know, all of the 16 songs on this record, I like these versions way better than the studio versions. Fabian and I talked about this. Alive 2 had some that I liked the live versions better, some of the studio, but this live versions of all 16 songs I much prefer. Come On and Love Me. Next is Parasite. Oh my God. And something that I've realized before, I always listen to this as a record, and if you see it just as a live concert and a set list, if you see it like this instead of the songs like this, you see they do Parasite, She, Watching You. You could even maybe include 100,000 Years, and if you wanted to really be generous, you could include Black Diamond. That's a stretch of quite heavy songs. Kiss is not a heavy band, but they did have their moments of being heavy, and Parasite is the first one. That riff, Deuce had a great riff, but that Parasite riff, even when I was a kid and I didn't know the word riff, that song was, I don't know if it was my favorite in 1976 or 77, 78, but it was among. I just loved that. I knew that that was the kind of music that I loved. When I heard that Parasite riff, loved it. She'll always be there trying to grab a hold. Did they get the lyrics right for Parasite? I realize I'm missing some. She thought she knew me, but she didn't know, and I was sad and want to let her go. That's not the lyric, is it? And I was sad and wanting her to go. I'm not sure. Parasite lady, parasite eyes. I didn't want to have to get away. I told her things I didn't want to say. I gotta leave her, hope she'll understand. That's not right, is it? Is it I hate her and I hope she'll understand? All right, but anyway, yeah, Parasite. Oh, what a scorching song that is. That's a real heavy metal song. And then the next one is even more metal, and this is one, this is She. This is one, as far as I can remember when I was a kid, She was maybe amongst my least favorites. I think maybe because it was a little bit long, I don't know. And it maybe wasn't catchy and up-tempo like Strutter or Firehouse. But, I guess as I got older and became more of a metal fan and, appreciated riffs and heaviness and things like that, and the next song could fit in the same category, I appreciated She, and it's one of my very favorite Kiss songs. Oh, She is just an incredible. Love it. And the next song is Watching You, another one that I didn't know when I was a kid. I didn't know about riffs and heavy and things like that. And Watching You is one that I loved at the time, but as I became a metal fan in the early 80s, loved it and appreciated it more as a kind of a metal song. It's maybe as close as Kiss can get to metal. Limpin' As You Do and I'm Watching You. Did they get it right? No, it's Limpin' As You Do and I'm Watching You. On the lyrics here, they've got nothing else to do. I'm watching you. That's not right. And you don't really know just what to do. You don't really know. I'm standing here, not quite aware. And I'm trying, baby, trying not to stare. Cause everybody else is here. Yes, everybody else is here. Everybody else is here watching you. God, that song is amazing. Next is 100,000 Years. This is, what is the bridge? Is this around, you know what? I didn't show the actual records, and I know I looked at them. Maybe I'll do that at the end. I'll try to remind myself to show the records. So this is it 10 and a half minutes? It's somewhere around there. And even when I was a kid, a young, stupid kid with a short attention span, I had no problem listening to 100,000 Years. I know some people are bored by the drum solo. I didn't care. I loved it. It's the greatest drum solo ever, and I don't even know what's second best. Not because 100,000 Years' drum solo is so great, just because I don't really keep track of drum solos and don't have a ranking or a list. I can't even name another drum solo, at least on record. But oh my God, the drum solo of 100,000 Years is unreal. Loved it, and still love it now. And now this is the long one. This has got the transcribed stage rap all through the middle. I'll maybe try to do this in kind of, I can't really imitate Paul Stanley, but I'll make an effort to ramp up the volume. So this would be the middle part so I have between the transition between the end of the drum solo and coming back into Do You Feel Right into the song. This is over the drums. All right, I got a question for you. I got a question for everybody over here. I want to know how many people over here like to party. This says how many people here like the party, but it's like to party. Now, come on. Oh yeah, and I got a question for all the wild people over here. Oh yeah. I want to know how many people over here this says would like to go home. How many people over here would like to go home? But it's not that. He says, I want to know how many people over here wanna get high. All right, I got a question for everybody here, and I don't forget about you people upstairs either. I want to know how many people here tonight believe in rock and roll. Oh yes, if you believe in rock and roll. Now if you say you believe in rock and roll, I want to hear everybody here say rock and roll. Now, come on. I know you can do better than that, so we're going to try it again. I want y'all to catch your breath, because here it comes. I said rock and roll. There you go. Well, again, now I know, hold on. It's good. The way I hear it in my mind, and the words printed here are a little bit different. This says, well, again, now I know if you really wanted to, you could bring the roof down. So let's make it this time. All right. So let's make it this time like you mean it. Ready? Rock and roll. Come on and clap. I don't remember. It says come on and clap harder. I don't remember him commanding the audience to clap harder. Because that's what rock and roll is all about. Now, if y'all believe in rock and roll, why don't you stand up for what you believe in? Come on, get up. Woo! He's demanding that the audience get up if they believe in rock and roll. Come on. And then it goes back in the song, do you feel right? Do you feel right? Oh my God, 100,000 years. I like it even more with the transcribed transcription of Paul Stanley's stage raps. Oh, 100,000 years is fucking awesome. Oh, and the next is, I don't need that. I'm getting amped up. I believe in rock and roll, as Paul Stanley asked me. Next is Black Diamond. Loved it as a kid, love it now. This is maybe the most serious Kiss song, and it's got that great kind of mellow introduction. Paul Stanley singing the introduction out on the streets for a living. Pictures only begun. Woo. And then Peter Criss comes in. This is a very bombastic song. Dun, 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 dun. Very very dramatic song. And speaking of dramatic and bombastic, going back to 100,000 years, when I was a kid, I didn't know this until well into the 80s. In that last part of 100,000 years, that there were like flash pots and pyro going off. So that was cool too. So I'm getting distracted. Oh yeah, Black Diamond, love it, love it, love it. And now the last side, the first song on the last side is Rock Bottom. That's kind of a forgotten Kiss song too, kind of similar to Nothing to Lose. They haven't played that. They played on the reunion tour in '96, which was awesome to hear. But it's been done very, very, very sporadically since then, or intermittently or sporadically. I think sporadically is correct. And is there an intro to Rock Bottom? Oh, it's just, oh yeah. Kind of, it sounds like he's off mic, like Paul Stanley's off mic. Oh yeah. And then that great introduction. I can't wait a day. I don't care what you say. Love Rock Bottom. Next is Cold Gin. Now here's another great. Oh, I love this this introduction. It's silly now, but I heard it when I was a kid and I've always loved it. Oh yeah, how you feel? I got a little question for you. I want to know how many people here like to take a taste of alcohol. All right. I know it's getting so hot outside, you always need something to cool you off. There's got to be some people out there that like to drink tequila. Now, parentheses from this for a minute. At the time, I didn't know what tequila was. I'd never heard of it. I remember when I was a kid, I thought he was saying how many people here like to drink the Kid Up. I have no idea. I know that's stupid, but I didn't know what tequila was. Then as I got older, when I was an adult, I thought this is really, and maybe you shouldn't look too deeply into these things, like wrestling, when people question, if a guy really did that to a guy in real life, he would be dead. Well, don't question that. But when he says it's so hot outside, there's got to be some people out there that like to drink tequila. And when I was old enough to know this, I thought, who's cooling off with tequila? Who's outside in the heat and humidity, and they're sweating and they're hot and they're tired, and they think, yeah, tequila would really hit the spot right now. That's one. You maybe have to suspend your belief in reality for that line. And then there's another line too that's kind of silly. I was talking. This is the next line. I was talking to somebody backstage before, and they would tell me there's a lot of you people out there that like to drink vodka and orange juice. Now, parentheses again. I just can't imagine Paul Stanley sitting or standing, whatever, with somebody backstage before a Kiss concert, and the guy saying, "You know what, Paul Stanley of Kiss? There's a lot of people out there, your crowd, your people, they like to drink vodka and orange juice. I just can't imagine that happening. I think this story is fake news, yet I love it all the same. I tell you something, when you're down in the dumps and you need something to bring you up, there's only one thing that's going to do it the way you want it. What's that? I can't hear you. Cold gin. And then it comes in. That's such a great song. That was one that I kind of got tired of over the years, but in the last year or two, I appreciate Cold Gin again greatly, bigly. Next is Rock and Roll All Night. I guess this was before Kiss started using it as their signature song to close the shows. The best version of it for sure. There are many versions of it. Oh, there's a stage rap here. Listen, I want to tell you you've been a dynamite audience and you deserve to give yourselves a round of applause. Let's go. All right. Yeah, so let's rock and roll all night and party every day. And then the song comes in. And I'm more than maybe any other song in all of music, I'm sick of Rock and Roll All Night. But, when I listen to this version, especially in the context of the full album, I can't help but still get at least that feeling of being a kid again. And then the last song is Let Me Go Rock and Roll. This, at the time, in 1976, when I got this record, was probably my least favorite. I liked it. As I said, I loved all the songs, but I never got into this one the way that I did with, Firehouse and Deuce and everything else, or Rock and Roll All Night. It's still not my favorite, but I do like it much more now. It's my ex-wife's favorite Kiss song. So just like with Got to Choose and my friend Pete, when you're around people that really love something and get very excited about something, that influences you. So I do like Let Me Go Rock and Roll better now than I did when I was a kid. All right, so that's it for Alive. Now, as I said, I forgot to show the actual records. I'll go back and do that now. And now when I had this in 1976, the two record set, the first record had the sand, the Casablanca, the actual disc, the label. It had the sand, I don't know what it's called in Kiss circles, but it was that beige sand color, the desert. And the first record, the second record, was the purple label with the Humphrey Bogart, I guess, character with the fedora and the trench coat or whatever it was. Now, looking at this, I don't know what the second record is, but the first record, God, it's in perfect condition. Yeah, so there it is. So this is the opposite of mine. This is record one. Mine was not this purple label. It was the sand label. I always thought the sand label looked cooler. And I looked at this in the store, but I can't remember now. I think the second one is also purple. Yeah, it is. So no sand label on either of these. So this is, yeah. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I don't care. It's not like I sit there and watch it spinning around when I listen to it, but the sand label for me, and it had the, I think in later years, like after Love Gun, or after Destroyer, I think it had camels on that sand label too. But anyway, I'll put that back. So much for the mint condition. I have them out here all scattered all over. My cat will probably walk in them and get cat hairs embedded in the grooves. So that is all for, oh no, I do have to get the record out because I have to show you people what it is. So that's all for maybe the fourth episode of Kiss Alive. I did the original one. I talked about it in the Kiss official album rankings. I talked about it with Jason McMaster, Chris McClernand, and Daniel DK. I talked about it with my wife. So this is however many that is, that many times I've talked about it. And maybe I'll talk about it even more. Maybe I'll go somewhere and I'll find a French edition of it or something. But I will probably, I think it's probably pretty hard for me to resist buying a copy. Is there anything in there? No. Probably pretty hard for me to resist buying a copy of Kiss Alive. And there it is for me. This is the opposite of Peter Criss's album, which is the worst album ever created in the history of music. For me, this is the best album. It's a live album, but first album I ever got, and still the best. This is Kiss Alive.